Kalimera, kalispera, kalinichta. Wherever you might be in this wonderful world, this fine, fine Tuesday. Oh, Gunners, we're going back to Wembley. That's what they say. Let's rock and roll, squaddies.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Yes, boys and girls, welcome to the Highbury Squad post-game show, the second leg of the Carabao Cup Semi-Final, Arsenal versus Chelsea, another London derby for the Gunners, and 3-2 up. They made it tense, just like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. But in the end, they prevailed, and the return of the player I told you is the signing of this January transfer window. That is right. It is King Kai. Welcome, squaddies, and welcome back to Squad Central. Mr. James Johnson, how you feeling?
Yes. Yes.
That intro from you is probably how annoying we are to pundits and opposing fans. James,
I'll make the Telegraph with that, won't I?
They were waiting to write the headlines. Before we get stuck into all of this, ladies and gentlemen, please hit the like button. Listen to our Chief Like Officer, Tammy Steels. She will look after you. Make sure you hit the like button. There is no entrance fee here at Highbury Squad. We are live and we are ready to wax lyrical about our team. Be careful if you're coming in here to be negative today, because yellow cards are here, and I even have the red card ready. James, we're going to Wembley. Do I even start at the beginning where we usually do with the starting 11, or what do we do?
You crack on, Sophie. As always, the floor is yours, and I will, just like we had a big bit of German polyfiller tonight, I will do the polyfiller wherever you need me to be.
All right, James.
What a papering over the cracks that was.
Here's what I'm going to do, because as you know, I love it when squaddies write in between the game, before the game's even over. And Anne 2351 says, weak, mediocre and overly defensive tactics from Mikel so far. And why can't our players play simple passes between them when they get into the final third? Andy says, terroristic tactics by Teta. Peter says, well done, Havertz. Let me also close my WhatsApp because it is going off and I don't want it to annoy you guys. Our Chief Like Officer, Tammy Steele, says, credit to Havertz. Highbury Squad says, Wembley.
Nice to see them in the chat.
Oh, King Kai says, Andy offered. Let's see. Who else we got? Marky Mark's in the house. Everyone's here. Everyone is buzzing. Druck says, got there in the end. Terence says, no urgency. Demsex asking if he can breathe now. John Hunter. Sophie, Tammy Stills and all the Gooners. Declan Rice is like Lee Majors. Great show. We are going to Wembley, lads and lasses. Harvey, Wembley, yes, of course. We are. Right, let's start at the tippy top of the semi-final second leg mountain, and make sure if you're listening on audio on Apple and Spotify, you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a celebratory show like this. The Gunners are going to Wembley and will be playing either Manchester City or Newcastle United in the final. And I'm sure a lot of Arsenal fans are making their plans right now. The 2026 final is on Sunday, March 22nd at Wembley Stadium. James, the starting 11 came out. What did you make of it, matey?
Yeah, again, stronger than I expected it to be. But I liked it. I thought, you know what, considering everything that's there, I'm like, that's a good enough side to go and get a result and also it's a good enough, back four and what have you, other than the goalkeeper. That's mainly been the back four for the last couple of weeks that can defend a lead. And yeah, was it a bit hairy, scary here and there? A tiny bit. Was it a bit flat here and there? Tiny bit. But like you said, you could keep repeating it. We're going to Wembley.
We
We're
certainly
going.
are.
We're
We
there.
are.
We have punched the ticket. It might not be the most beautiful way, but we are there. And to echo what Albert said the other day, that's 6 years since we've been to a final. So let's have it.
6 years since we've been to a final, and my phones are ringing. Everyone's trying to connect and contact me right now. Of course they are. I liked the starting 11. I didn't really have any issue with it. I liked Kepa in goal. I know that some fans were worried about that. You play your best 11 to get to Wembley, to get to a final, to have the opportunity to win silverware. And credit to the manager for doing that. And I felt like there was a strategy here involved. So here's how I want to start the conversation, which, by the way, hold on one second. I am going to let the kids know on the old X, James, that we are live right now. So we are going to do that real quick. Just patience. Have as much patience as Arsenal did to win that game today, people. I thought this was a masterclass from Mikel. And I so love that we won this game in the manner in which we did, that it's going to rub people the wrong way, that folks are going to say that we don't deserve it, that we're anti-football, that we're ruining the Premier League, that we're ruining the domestic cups. Because the sense of urgency, and I switched it around a little bit. I went Paramount Plus, right? And then I saw Troy Deeney on the desk, and I'm like, not doing that, right? So then you go for another, and then you've got Gary Neville. I'm like, I can't sit there and listen to this guy absolutely lambast my team every second. I want to actually watch the game. You'll see there's less pictures today because I just really wanted to focus on it. And the sense of urgency, the commentator continually, raving about Liam Rossignor's tactics. When is he going to unleash phase 2 of his tactics? Nothing about Mikel, nothing about Arsenal, nothing about how we were totally controlling everything. What did they really do? 2 or 3 instances, perhaps, right? That was to not exert too much energy. We were 1-0 up. There's no reason to go risk the game. Play the way we know. We're going old school, Mikel. We're parking the spaceship and we'll deal with it from there. James, the sense of the salivation, the Hannibal Lecter, I once ate it with a nice bottle of Chianti. It was insane. And in the end, Arsenal prevail and we win. I felt like at no point in that match was I worried about anything. Mikel, take a bow. That was masterful, James.
Yeah, I agree in some aspects. I like the fact that we've gone out there with what is, statistically the best defense in the league and in Europe, and try and break us down for a change. But masterclass, Sophie. I'm not there, but I'm not gonna say that that's I'm not gonna say that's a bad opinion at all, because it's not. I felt that today was one of those where, and Alex Ferguson used to say it best, and I believe it's an old Napoleon quote, in that I would rather have 11 lucky generals than 11 good generals. And I think today you had generals out there that were, a lot of people dug out Hincapie on Twitter tonight. I saw a few things on it. I thought he was really, really good. He battled for me out there tonight, Hincapie. When Gusto was diving and he leaned over at him and was like, "Get up, you cheat," and everything. He really went out there for me tonight, Hincapie, and showed that he's got a bit about himself as well as the other established lads that are there. There's still habits in there that I don't understand and I don't get. There was a moment in that second half when the cross was put in from Madueke and Yuri and Timber is further than Victor Gyökeres in the box. And it makes no sense in my head as to why this is happening. Because if they take that kick quickly, the Timber's not going to be there straight away. However, I'm not going to sit here and completely lambast that at all, because I thought it was a really, really good, defensive performance from certain players, like you said, Gabriel and Hincapié especially. Saliba never has a good game against João Pedro. Even when he was at Brighton, he always struggles against João Pedro. I don't know what it is, but that's the one player to me that sometimes makes Saliba a bit kryptonite-y. And I thought he had his number a bit tonight. But then in the end, Gabriel was just like, do you know what? You try and push him over more my way, and I'll have him every time, which he did. He's like, we're both Brazilian. I've trained with him with the nationals. So he's like, I know what he's going to do, mate, before he even does it. So push him my way. And that's what I like. We've talked about, you said it the other week, you're not going to win anything unless there's unity, depending on it. However many minutes you get, however you're called upon, everyone there's got to be in a united front. And I thought they were tonight. I really did.
I like it, James. Very well said. Excellently said. We just lost our live report from from the stadium. Hold on 1 second, boys and girls. As promised, I did say that we would be live from the Emirates, and here, battling the cold and the wet, he's probably saying, Sophie, just hurry up and get me on, please.
Yes! We're going Wembley. James, I'm starting the campaign already, man. I'm trying to get you me tickets, man. Stop these Arsenal fans. What do you say? You don't care about the Carabao Cup?
Yeah, ask the people who don't care. Ask the people who don't care. We'll get them.
Oh, Sophie, man. I swear, when that goal went in, right, the limbs that were flying.
I bet.
Honestly, I've never flown that far in my life.
I bet. It was fantastic. It was just a beautiful moment. And of all the players to score, it was Kai Havertz. And I love how he doesn't think twice about celebrating goals when he scores them against Chelsea. Albert, it was really like a morgue for the majority of the game. You finally get to the Emirates, and it was an awful match for the viewers. I've just said out loud on the show that it was a masterclass from Mikel. Talk us through it a little bit. Tell us what you saw and what the vibe was there, because at the end, that was just magical.
Yeah, Sophie and James, do you know what I think it is? If we'd have gone into that second leg, even though it was at home and it was 2-2, it might have been a bit different. I think the fact that we took the first leg lead being 3-2 up, I think probably maybe affected the way we played, because Arsenal not really a gun-ho team. What you've seen this season, so if you label it the blue-collar Arsenal, we're not, we've got a foothold in the tie. Chelsea really, even with the players they had back on, some of the players that are missing because Reece James missed today, they've got to come out eventually and try and score a goal. They kept it pretty tight. I thought they started well. We didn't really create anything. And I think, I don't know if you saw it on the TV, but I panned to Mikel on the touchline because I had a really good seat. I was behind him. And he was getting really irate. Because I think two things can be right at the same time. I think either you could see him like move the ball quicker, and not only move it quicker, go a little bit more direct. Because Chelsea's back four are not that fantastic. They're not. You can say what you want to say about them. We've got two pacey wide forwards on each flank, and you've got the strength of Victor. You can miss out the middleman sometimes. So I could see on the touchline he was getting really, really irate and pulling some of the players to one side to say, look, we need to change things up a bit. But it was a bit cagey, Sophie. It was, it was like a little bit of a chess match. And I think sort of the way Chelsea kind of set up, they were kind of stay in the game, 60, 70 minutes, make the subs, bring Esteval and bring Cole Palmer on. But yeah, Arsenal, Sophie's kind of what I've seen really most of this season, to be honest, with Arsenal in first halves or first 60 minutes. But I think the fact that we was ahead in the tie going into the game, I think had a bearing on how that game panned out in the first half.
100%. Well said. I totally agree with you. And I thought that Mikel managed it really, really well, considering, we go into the second half. Albert, you were there. I never felt concerned at any point. There were a couple of moments, but was there anxiety in the stadium? Did Arsenal fans feel like Chelsea were dangerous? How did you feel as the game was progressing?
When I look at it, like in terms of just like cold, hard facts, how many times was our goal under threat? How many times did Kepa feel under pressure? I think we had the shot in the first half from Fernandes. I think he was where he punched it away. But other than that, there wasn't really much chance in the game. In terms of like anxiety on people around the stadium, I think the most sort of anxiety or any kind of I'm in an R-in and tutting and kissing teeth, all that kind of thing is when Arsenal get the ball in defensive areas. And again, I'll go back to what I was saying, how Mikel was on the touchline. They have opportunities to go centrally and play it a bit quicker, and they for some reason don't do it. And at times, yes, we talk about it as Arsenal fans that maybe it's a Mikel thing, but from what I saw on the touchline, Sophie and James, I mean, I don't think it's a Mikel thing from what I was seeing, because he wanted the players to move the ball quicker. And like I said, they could have gone a bit more direct. So that's where kind of the I'm in an R-in and the kind of the recycle football and back to Kepa to Saliba to Kepa. Then we go short again. We try and invite pressure to beat the press. So that was kind of really the anxiety that, if that's the right word to use, I kind of saw within the Arsenal fans in the first half anyway.
What I like what I like about is the confidence that we have to play that way, the belief that we have to play that way, James and Albert. I think that's a credit to Mikel and this team. I wanted to ask you, Albert, and then I'll lob it over to James. When Chelsea made their substitutions, so, you know, impactful players like Esteval, Palmer, Garnacho, who hurt us in the first leg, any thoughts of, you know, lightning striking twice? It felt to me like we totally nullified their substitutes.
Yeah, let me take myself off of mute. That would help, innit? Listen, like I said, I think they, looking at it from what I could kind of see, they wanted to keep it tight for 60 minutes, because if they come out and play against us at the Emirates and the record isn't great there, then we pick them up. But, you know, they had the firepower essentially to come off the bench. I don't think they impacted the game that much, if I'm being honest, with Cole Palmer and Esteval. I did think if Arsenal were to make changes to Sophie and James to affect the game, I thought the change at the time would have been you'd have brought on Havertz, maybe possibly bring off Eza, and then a toss-up whether you keep Martinelli on and bring Trossard on. But I think he made the changes I thought he would make, probably not the personnel in terms of who came off.
Yeah. As K Marlon says, James, Chelsea had 5 at the back. That's hard to break down, especially when not moving the ball fast enough and they're overloading in midfield. A couple of the squaddies calling out for penalties, and some Arsenal fans calling me crazy for saying it's a Mikel masterclass. James, do you have a question for your buddy Albert JTV, who's standing wet and cold on this Tuesday night?
You know what? I did all right. James, I've got a special guest with me as well next to me.
God, if it's who I think it is.
Hello.
Hey, there he is.
I bought RJ. RJ's a real one, Sophie and James. James knows anyway, because I've got part of our Arsenal Brothers group chat. So so fire a question, James, man. Please tell us, ask us.
Right. So big one. You said your seat was right behind Mikel, yeah? Your seat, Albert?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're watching that, because obviously on television you're not getting the angle from behind the manager. Why would they do that? But there was that moment you said there about them not playing it quickly and not playing it in when the space is there. The big one I remember in the second half was Zubamendi had the ball and Gyökeres was wide, but Martinelli was sort of clean through in the middle. But the pass went wide. Zubamendi went sideways. I'm not saying that's what he does all the time, but that's what happened in that instance. When stuff like that happens, is Mikel like the fans where they're going, it's like, no, Martin, you know, do you get that reaction from him, or is it more if he's like he's like, don't worry, the next phase will come type thing? Because I look at it and I think, does he get aggrieved and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring in RJ quick. I'm gonna ask. I'll bring in RJ quickly, but I liken it, James, to when we played Villa at home, and in the second half, I've not seen Arsenal do that. They went more direct, and you can do that with Victor there. You can do that when you got pacey wide forwards, and I thought a little bit more in the second half they did that more, and I think Mikel wouldn't have been discouraged by them doing that, because you've got Victor there, he's strong, you've got the two quick wide forwards in Madueke and Martinelli. RJ, come in, bro. Don't go for him, bro. Oh, come on, just keep talking. Well, we are off to Wembley, guys. Oh, man. That was euphoria. That's all I can say, guys. For me, I haven't been back to the Emirates in a while. And funnily enough, the last time we was in the League Cup semi-final against Chelsea, we won. And I was there for that. And obviously, that was... Oh, I think Arsene Wenger was still in charge, wasn't it? Yeah, he was. That shows how long ago it was. But at the end of the day, it was brilliant. And just to see Havertz cut inside and just sat Sanchez on his... I'm not going to swear. That was euphoria. I loved it.
That was great. Who, RJ, before you hand us back to Albert, and by the way, well done for you for being at the game. It's been a while since you've been there. I'm glad that the team could get the win for you and you got to see a goal in the end. Who was your player of the match? What did you see? Who did you enjoy? Firstly, who did you enjoy watching play in this game? Because it was definitely more of a chess match.
Yeah, it was definitely more of a chess match. I was getting frustrated at times because I felt like, because it was so slow at times. But for me, personally, I think Rice, for me, I thought he played well. Personally, I thought he did everything to get back and do his best. Gyökeres, I thought he was getting into the spaces correctly. But for me, I just feel like he needs to get the ball a little bit more. To demand that.
Who's your player of the match then?
I'm gonna stick with Rice.
Okay. All right.
I think he was solid.
All right. Well, RJ, thanks for jumping in and sharing your thoughts as well. We appreciate you.
Wembley, so come on, so
Thanks for having me on.
Albert, before you let us go, what else do you want the squaddies to know about tonight? I was a bit disappointed with the fans for a while, but I get it. It's cold, it's wet. But we've been and seen teams come and get thrashed at the Emirates in Europe, and their fans are singing their hearts out. Our fans have been phenomenal. Our away fans are phenomenal, especially. But there was not much of an atmosphere until the Havertz goal went in. But overall, your player of the match, the gaffer, and the fans for tonight. Before we let you go, get warm in a tube station somewhere.
Yeah, the Emirates has kind of got like that from the time I've been coming in for quite a few recent seasons. It's got better, don't get me wrong, but I think we've heard this said a lot in terms of the media and our Arsenal podcasters and the atmosphere and the anxiety, and we ain't won silver in a long time. We ain't been to a final for a bloody long time. And that does turn the mind. I don't care how long you've been supporting the club. When you see other teams making finals and winning trophies, as it was so painful and etched in my face last season, to be back at a major final under Mikel's tutelage, it's massive. It's huge. Because something changed. We ain't got many winners that have won silver in this side, you know. Like, people seem to forget that. So, you know, the kind of PTSD with Arsenal fans kind of come to the forefront. But this is big for Mikel. This is massive. Like, we haven't had a lot of discussions to talk about when it comes to making major finals. We haven't been in one since he won it, you know, in 2020. Yeah, in lockdown. So, yeah, hats off to Mikel. And if you're talking about players, you know what? It might surprise some people in the chat and you guys, but I know some Arsenal fans might be a little bit unsure about him. But in Carpe, man, I tell you, he's ground on me personally. I think he's brilliant. So, if I'm sorry, I mean, I think you might see the best of him depending on whether we keep him or not. But you know, warrior comes to mind. Stuck to his task, aggressive. They bought Esteval, and I don't think he got the better of him too much when he came on. And you know what? I think, depending on how many more games he sort of starts for Arsenal in an Arsenal shirt, I think he will offer us a bit more going forward and getting crosses into the box. He had an opportunity in the first half where he had a perfect chance to cross the ball in the box, and he didn't. I was quite surprised about that because he's pretty good with that in Carpe. But for me, he's my player in the match for Arsenal. I thought he's excellent.
You know what? I said after the game at the weekend, I think he's a great defender, but he doesn't really offer too much going forward. This is by far his best game since he's joined Arsenal, I think. And yeah, long may it continue. I still don't see it going forward. He's just not as dynamic as Calafiori, of course, but defensively, very disciplined. You know where his smarts are positionally? He's one of the most valuable traits for any defensive player to have is to just have a sixth sense about the game and know where the game might be going. And I think Nketiah is a really smart footballer, and positionally,
And
I think he's
and
great.
it helps Sophie and James. He's got Gabriel next to him.
Yeah,
Massively.
for sure. Yeah.
It's a big help.
You know how Guardiola started this? I play 4 centre backs across my back line. He is traditionally a centre half, not a left back. But like you were saying there, Sophie, and it's a great point. Unlike Calafiori, who has come on leaps and bounds this season, and we've all said this when we've been together, Calafiori still has that. I'm just going to run around. I'm going to play up front for 10.
Yeah.
Do what he wants.
Whereas Nketiah will always go back. He knows that Nketiah will do. And I mean, he had a great chance in the first. He nearly went into the Silvino and Winterburn left back goal against Chelsea. Thrasher. He smashed one first half. It was a good save, but yeah, no, I was really, really happy for him.
Yeah.
But Albert, last one before I go, and you go as well. How important was it, mate?
So again?
How important was to win tonight?
James, what's he saying? Are you saying something in the chat?
I think he's goading you.
I think he's goading you
because
how important is it to win tonight?
I think he's goading you, Albert, because you know why? I think that he wants the tickets of all the Arsenal fans who have literally, but you know, what is it you mugged off, you kids that call it, or jog on, whatever it is you say these days.
Jog on.
The Carabao Cup, and I'm just going to say maybe we'll start a depot where fans who don't want to go to the cup final can just drop off their tickets. But go on, Albert.
Well, no, James. Like I mentioned it on the last show. It really, really irritates me when I hear sections of our fan base dismiss cup competitions. Are you crazy? We've only won this competition twice. You know, remember the great Kevin Campbell played in the last side. When we won it in 1993, some of generations of our fan base, I've never seen us win a trophy. Definitely not the League Cup anyway, because Wenger never won it, and he was there for how many bloody years. But this is huge, you know. I don't care what anyone tells me. All the other rival clubs, Sophie, take this competition seriously. I just can't understand this blasé attitude of some Arsenal fans. They make me sick. Some of them, if I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to see any of them at Wembley. If I see them, I'm gonna speak to Kenny Ken or speak to some contact to get the tickets off of them because they don't deserve to go. And I'm happy to say that publicly. But no, this is a massive night. Massive night, Sophie.
Everyone's asking Albert if he can get tickets for them. And by the way, while you were talking, Albert, I know it's hard to see us maybe, but you mentioned Super Kev the last time we won the League Cup. Super Kev was in that side. And by the way, you guys, I felt like very calm today, a semi-final, and I realized halfway through the game why I felt so calm. And that is because Mr. Brockett, it's his birthday tomorrow. Okay. So he was taking care of business as much as the team. And he would have loved it that Arsenal reached their first Wembley final.
I know.
He'd have loved a 1-0 like that as well.
Oh, he would have loved everything about it.
He'd have loved that, yeah.
And I've got the coat to go with it, Sophie, mate. The old George Grant special. That's it.
Yes, you do. Hit that like button for us. I don't know why I've stopped using Vinny. Kevin will be like, get Vinny out, get Vesper out, get the Brock out, get the Samurai out, get it all out, Soph. We're gonna Wembley.
We are, man. We're going to Wembley, man. Enjoy it.
Albert, thank you so much. Make sure you follow Albert at Albert
Love you,
JTV.
James.
We appreciate the report. Take care, Albert. Safe travels home. Albert,
you soon.
Live from the Emirates there. We appreciate him. Thank you so much. Some great points from him. And also RJ, it was a bonus.
Do you know what, Sophie? If they'd have turned them lights off outside and he kept smiling, it wouldn't have looked any different, would it? What a beautiful beaming man he is.
I was so
in the world for Albert.
He's so good. He's so good. I love my crew here, my squad, and the squaddies. We've waited together. So let's see. Highbury Squad has been. This might be. Is this the first final we're going to together in the Highbury Squad community? Tammy's going to be able to tell me, or Carol, or Demsek. This might be our first final together, James. All right. Well, look, there's going to be a lot more conversation as we head towards Wembley. The final, again, is on March 22nd. Can't wait for that. I'm going to give you some stats and facts right now, James. And they had Chelsea had 11 shots. We had 6, 2 shots on target each. 45% possession for us, 11 fouls for us, 8 for them, 1 yellow card for us, 3 for them, no reds, 1 offside each. They had 5 corners. We had 2 corners. James, what do you think we're thinking finalists-wise? Of course, there's a 2-0 lead in the second leg tomorrow. We've seen what an advantage can do even for us tonight. Who would you rather play in the final, Newcastle or Manchester City?
That's a great question. It really is. There's the emotional attachment of I would like to see that master fight, that the apprentice finally beat his master, because it could then, we've said it for how many weeks, Sophie, that winning that as a group can kick them on to win more than just one thing. And I think that having that seminal moment, like we've spoken about, of him finally beating, Guardiola. I know he's beaten Guardiola in the FA Cup semi-final all them years ago and what have you, but to beat him in a final with the fans there and everything else, I think that would not just be huge for that group of players, for us as fans, because we've needed it. I think it's huge for him. Because, and Albert just mentioned it in that great chat that we had with him there. It was good enough for all these other managers to win this first before they went on all their, when Jose first come to this country, he won this, then he won his leagues and everything else. Guardiola, Klopp, they all done it. They all won it. The amount of Chelsea and City managers over the years that have done it and won it before they've won something else. So, yeah, I think it's huge. If Newcastle pull it back, credit to them, and I look forward to that game as well. Like I said on Saturday, Sophie, I bring them on now. I want it. Let's have it. Whoever it is, let's have it.
It feels like now's the time. It feels like it is. You look at, the last few years, how things have gone, the closeness. Everyone keeps saying in sports, it's like once you get there, it's never easy to get back, but also once you're building something, you see year on year the improvements, right? And I think this could be not the changing of the guard, because Mikel's got a long way to go to reach any of these other managers, right? But is it like the rumor mill about Pep? What's going to happen to them? For him to do this, I think it becomes the momentum shifter, and the moment that he finally deliver. This is the opportunity for Mikel to deliver the biggest moment, and he'll have other big moments in his career. He's going to go on and manage other clubs and do other things at some point. Who knows? He could be at Arsenal for 30 years. We don't know. But this is his chance to take it from Pep and to keep taking it from everyone week after week in the Premier League, James. It's huge. Yeah. It's big,
it's so big
for the culture of the club, and it's big for the culture of him, right? We don't care so much. We care about our club and winning. These players and the manager, they go on. We're still here. It's what I was talking about, leasing the shirt, right? But you've got to capitalize on this moment.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. And, like we've said there, whoever it may be, bring them on. But, yeah, there is that sort of poetic storytelling. On here, you always say about the stories. It's all about the opinions and the stories. And that story is really, really, it's really romantic. It makes the hair stand up on my arms, I must say. It's a very, very special. It would be a special thing to do, because us as fans, I know it goes up and down with, every little bad result or every little chink that we do get. It sort of dents that confidence that little bit more. But I think at the moment, the general consensus is a lot of us are now believing that we're going to do it. Something's happening this year. And I think as a group, them finally all having something together, and then they can celebrate that on the day, get on the bus and what have you with it and everything else. And then as they're on that bus going, right, we've done them here.
Yeah.
Now let's do it. We got to do them again for May,
Yeah.
and then we'll end up in May because we'll have 2 of these days, not just 1 of these days. We'll have 2 of these days, or even 3, or even 4. So because we're still there, we're
He's
still
not
in all 4.
greedy. He's just ambitious. He's not greedy. He's just ambitious.
I'm there.
You know, James, I don't want to. We're going to Wembley, and I know there's a lot of listeners, a good few hundred of you listening tonight. We really appreciate you. Hit the like button; it's free. It helps the channel. Get those likes up, everyone. If you love the Arsenal and you love a game at Wembley, there are a few listeners that want to talk about Eza and the players that did get their opportunity. So I'm just going to let you tell me kind of what you saw. I felt like Madueke was unafraid and didn't hide. I felt like even if he tries something and it doesn't work, he goes back and he tries again and he'll try something different. This is a player who's willing to put themselves out there. And, we saw him have an amazing game the last game. I thought he did and was one of the brightest sparks in the first half, actually, putting himself out there. I thought Eza hid a little bit in this match and maybe was a little bit too afraid. There were moments, there were glimpses, but it felt like if you're trying to give Mikel Arteta a huge headache as to who's going to play in that position, you need to enforce yourself a little bit stronger. James, the players who did get their opportunity to come in, Eza Madueke especially, what did you make of that to answer the squaddies?
Yeah, of course. And again, I don't want to, tear anybody sort of down or be overly harsh on people when we've had a result like tonight and we've had such a upbeat show. I agree with you, Sophie. For me, and funny enough, Neil from the Purely Arsenal said it as well earlier on their show today that they did. Madueke for me, next to Max Doman, has been our most exciting forward to watch, in my opinion, this season.
Mm-hmm.
You've mentioned before about popcorn players or people that
Yeah.
when they're doing something, you're like, you sit forward. It's not one of them when you're watching the game and he makes you sort of lean a bit. He gets you a bit excited, a bit like Martinelli back in the day as well, when he used to go on those mazy runs. And yeah, what I like about Madueke is if it doesn't come off the first time, he's not like how Pepe used to be. And I was a very big Pepe fan, actually. But Pepe sometimes would try it. It wouldn't work. And then he'd go, oh, that's me done then. I'm not going to keep it. He'd be defeated if he didn't win that duel that time. Madueke would just keep on trying it. And he had glimpses again today. And I thought after the game that he had at the weekend, he showed, okay, I've got an assist and I've got a goal. And I thought that's going to kick you on because all you're missing is just that end product, that last final bit of the piece.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are the minute the guy adds end product, it'll be superb. It'll be absolutely superb. And Eze for me, look, there were periods of that time in that game. I didn't know he was there, Sophie. I didn't know he was there, and I just, I felt like he was just running around, which is fine. Because you need that energy, and on that side of the game. And it's a bit like how I feel with Odegaard this season at times when I watch him. I'm like, you're not imposing yourself. You're not putting yourself into consideration. I mean, Odegaard's obviously got this injury, but I think he'll probably be back for Saturday night. But like you said there, you didn't give Arteta a headache to think, I'm not recalling Odegaard straight away.
Mm-hmm.
If in hindsight, if I'm looking at it, or foresight, sorry, I got that wrong. I think he picks Havertz to play in that other 8 role at the weekend with Rice. I think he puts Havertz in there after this goal tonight.
Well, Len says Eza's scared of Arteta's wrath, he thinks. BX Gunner says at least Odegaard presses.
There is that as well, yeah.
There is that. That is very, very huge. Eza was walking at times, says Bendagostino. Demsek says he thought that Eza was solid, did the defensive work that was lacking. Barry says Madueke has to deliver when he beats his marker. Too many bad balls, final balls. That's very, very true. Harvey thinks that Eza is daunted by being at Arsenal. Super Kev used to talk about the weight of the shirt. all the time. O'Leary says Eze was not himself in the interview on Sky. His interaction with Arteta looked cold at the end of the game. He looks unhappy. Let's not read too much into that. Wesbird says Eze isn't demanding enough for the ball. That's what James says, and is frustrating. But I also think to maximize him, you have to move the ball quicker. And I think we need to kind of also establish the reaction to his performance based on the criteria of the game, right? We really didn't need to take any unnecessary risks in this game. And I'm pretty sure that Mikel said, look, this is a game where I just need you to do the simple things. There's no reason to take any chances or any unnecessary risks. We're 1-0 up. We manage the game at home and maybe nick a goal. So perhaps if this was the first leg, maybe we would have seen a different type of performance from Eze. I agree that at times he was neat. What I didn't like was the kind of I forgot he was playing moments. Oh, there he is, you know, and that's the part where I compare Madueke doesn't go hiding, whereas Eze does. So hopefully that'll improve. I thought Zubimendi bounced back again quite well. Some fans complaining about Rice and Zubimendi. These guys have played a lot of football again. I'm not going to criticize this team. They got us to Wembley and we just did what we had to do tonight. And Chelsea didn't have enough to come back with us, from us. K. Marlon says, these players are not calm at all. Suddenly our defense, which should be the best in the league, looks shaky. There are individual mistakes in both Saliba and Gabriel. The defense, we've conceded 11 goals in January. Is that right? Have we conceded 11 goals in January? Three against you.
Yeah, 3 against
sounds
United.
a little.
2 against Kairat, that's 5. I'm trying to remember who else. 0-0. 0-0. Was there?
It sounds a little high to me. You carry on thinking.
Villa with January, that was 1, wasn't it?
The Foxington says, I loved it. Love a good old-fashioned defensive performance from a good old Arsenal team. Dunkadunk says, Chelsea had a great idea. Rossignol set the team up to make Gabriel the free man. Somehow Chelsea were confident that Gabriel wouldn't move the ball into space, and they were possibly right. I thought Gabriel, some of his passing today was really, really good.
Yeah, that over-the-top through ball was on a lot in that first half, especially. I mean, there was the one, funnily enough, and again, I'm not trying to take digs at him. There was the one that Eze just didn't reach. He just didn't reach far enough to actually, take the touch and get. But yeah, no, there was some lovely passes from Gabriel tonight. But for me, next to Hincapié, he was easily the standout player for us tonight.
I thought Martinelli. I agree with Mark too, Marky here. I thought Martinelli defensively was really, really good.
It always is. That's why he still get, regardless of what his goals and assist contribution is, Mikel Arteta will always play him because of that. You can try Martinelli. He's not like those wingers in the past that were absolutely amazing, but they don't track back. He works his arse off, Martinelli.
James, I don't think I've ever wanted to. I love doing the post-game shows, especially when we win. But I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing the intro to tonight's sports bar. I'm really excited to go on social media and see what folks are saying. I'm really just, waiting for my phone to be invited back on. Oh, look, no invitations from TalkSport or Sky just yet. But we shall see. BBC Radio London, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I joke. I'm joking, but I'm really excited about actually, getting off air and enjoying this moment as a fan. Like, we are in the final of the Carabao Cup. The momentum and, like you were saying, the way this is going to make the players feel 10 feet tall. They got to a final together. I'm really excited to just go and enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've never understood hate watching and what have you. Anyway, especially these people. I'm like, why would you stream yourself watching teams that you hate? It makes no sense. That it's clearly because it's a money, it's a money spinner. So
I forgot about those guys, James. Thanks for reminding me.
Well, this is it. Is that there was one of them that's And I think he's called something like Key Thomas. I think he is a Liverpool fan, and he's constantly doing the rounds on TikTok because he's so anti us. It's unbelievable. And he talks all the time about how boring and they don't deserve it. And I can't imagine what he done when that Havertz won. He probably self-combusted, probably.
So let's talk about Havertz real quick.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned it at the top of the show, but I wanted to circle back with it. It's really funny. It's kind of like Jesus. You told me a network in the UK gave Jesus man of the match for the other day, and it was probably because of the quality of his goal. And today, when you kind of look at the game overall, who do you give player of the match? Maybe you give it to the guy who scored the goal. It's the manner in which he took the goal, the confidence, everything about it. And the referee, again, it was 6 minutes plus. And when Saliba started getting the crowd hyped, and then the referee was going for it, and the commentator was saying the whistle's in his mouth, I'm like, he's looking for Chelsea to have another attack here. And Chelsea did get the ball back. They were on the attack. And then we get the ball back, and we're the ones that ended up burying it and making sure that the game was over. I loved everything about that moment. It was a moment the fans needed, the players needed. It was a moment that there hasn't been that kind of euphoria at the Emirates as much this season. And they're special, James. And that was a great one. And Havertz, I joke and I don't joke. The timing of his return couldn't be more invaluable to this team, James.
Yeah. I mean, not just from stature, but he's such a big player for this lot. We mentioned it about we've had players that haven't got into double digits for such a long time, and that's a guy that, okay, it was a long time ago, but he did have that run where he was single-handedly just banging them in for fun. And we've said that we need players in this team that absolutely enjoy scoring goals. They love scoring goals. And that today from him was so class. I mean, to round the keeper and everything as well. And he could have squared it to Martinelli, but he went, "Nah, look, I've got to have this, mate. It's Chelsea. I've got to do this. I've got to do this to Chelsea. I'm sorry." He was like, "I'll pass to you next time. Next time you can have it, but it's me tonight."
I love that. I love that.
It was just so good. It was just so good. I mean, it's euphoria, it's relief, and it's also like, how have we done this considering everything that we've just seen for the whole rest of the game?
I know.
And
I know this picture's rubbish. This is, and sorry if you could hear, if you're listening on audio, me tapping on the laptop, but I had to find the picture, which people have turned into memes and wallpapers already, by the way. It's Kai pointing to the Arsenal badge. I mean, it's just James.
We lost you there for a sec, Sophie.
Yeah, I had to do a little cough. Sorry about that. Yep, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. That's all right.
I had to got a little tickly throat. We've been on the end of so many darts. This is so pleasurable. And having players like this who don't care, who want to point to the badge, the players who don't celebrate goals against their ex-teams. You and I, we've had this conversation. I've spoken about it with plenty of guests on Highbury Squad and the Squaddies. I do not like it. Arsenal pay your wages, celebrate. Yeah, okay, show respect, fine. But football's about joy, enjoyment, and people are trying to suck the joy out of football. I love this moment. I love it for Kai. I love that he did it. He's a gooner. He feels like a gooner through and through. And he's humbled, right? He's been humbled. James, when you're a professional footballer, your career is finite. This is why I feel for that player from Everton. Is it McNeil? Who didn't get his transfer to Crystal Palace, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I know they get paid a lot of money. I know they're on a pedestal. They're privileged. All of these things. Their careers end while ours is halfway through it to retirement. So they got to make big decisions, big choices that affect them and their families. So when you get injuries and they eat through a season of your career, which is short anyway as a footballer, that is humbling. And Kai feels and was always a humble guy. But when stuff like this happens to you, you come back almost with a second birth, a second desire, a second love for the beautiful game, James. And I couldn't be happier for this player who's been much maligned by so many of the fan base. And he's coming back. And not only is he coming back, but he's coming back to like a hero's welcome. I want to pause. I don't want to get too excited. He's still coming back from injury. But if you can have a Kai Havertz come off the bench with 20 minutes to go, wow, what an impact, James.
Yeah, it really is. Because again, we said tonight about style and the way that we've done things. He's a guy that you can hit direct because he can hold the ball. He's arguably the best player that we've got holding the ball up in that forward position. When he played as a 9 today, I think since he's come back, Sophie, even in his cameos as an 8, and we mentioned it, and I really want to see it more. I think him and Gyökeres are going to be great together. I really do. If needs be, the Newcastle game earlier in the season when we won that, and that was Marino, who sadly is out at the moment. But we were just like, do you know what? We need something here. So let's just overload the boxes, get all the big players on, get all the techie sort of players that can whip the ball in and everything, and just go a bit Route 1-y. I can see that happening again, because why not? You got 2 very good level of battering ram type players there. And I think that's going to be something to look out for. I think you're going to see more of them together and linking up together than you have. And yeah, it's just a really, really beautiful scene. And you know what? Kai Havertz arguably won the greatest trophy that you can win at club level with Chelsea. And I remember he always said in the interview, whatever I win at Arsenal will mean more to me because I love it here. I love it here. And he openly admitted he didn't really enjoy his time there. And I think, he as much as he loves all of us, I think even his hardest critiques, how could you not celebrate that tonight? How could you not? I mean, come on. And I know there's a few of them in the chat that have even come out and said, look, he's not my number 1 choice in the world. He's not my favorite in the world, but I love that tonight. And yeah, you just got to go with it. And you mentioned about celebrating, Sophie. A lot of people said I've never kicked a ball in my life. You're talking to a guy that missed his cup final because he celebrated and got a ban in the semi. I scored in the quarter. I scored in the semi. And I got sent. I didn't get sent off. I had an accumulation of bookings. And I celebrated my goal in the semi-final and got suspended for it. So yeah, you don't ever have to worry about me about celebrating, Sophie, because I love it.
I love it.
I've always said I'm an insufferable person, especially when we win, and I'll be even worse. So yeah, it's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Well, listen, done?
I won't say what the celebration was because we've been very good. We've been very good on air. We've been very good tonight.
I do love a good celebration, James. You could tell me when we go off air. It is a great night to be an Arsenal fan. We're back in a cup final, and it is the one that many of us on this show have been saying is the vehicle to winning the big one. Taste it, feel it, touch it, hug it, kiss it, lick it, love it, drink from it. Carabao Cup win will lead us to more glory. It's just joy, pure joy. And, I have to say, I have a lot of respect for people who achieve things in life, footballers who go on to have really great media careers. I got to say, I do not understand how anyone in England or on a world feed can listen to colour commentary from Gary Neville. It is so dull. And he talks about our football being anti-football or dull or we're not doing enough. Dude, your colour commentary is so dull. Your voice never goes high. It only goes high when Man United score. And if it does, it sounds like a schoolgirl. All of this bashing and all this bullshit. It's like, just shut up. I honestly can't listen to him. I would rather listen to the game in Spanish and make my own way and try and get like an iHeartRadio commentary or BBC London commentary than listen to him. And this is the first step in shutting people up, right? We've got to go and win it now. But we've had the last laugh tonight, and the laugh has always been on us a lot. So enjoy it and don't let anyone take the jam out of your donut. All right. And he I'm sorry, he's just a miserable commentator. He's got no joy. There's no energy to his commentary. He actually, it's a shame that he's with Peter Drury, who is a master at his job. So, yeah, that's it. Listen, kids, I don't know what else to say. James, do you have a closing for the squaddies?
Yeah, just on top of what you just said there, the other thing that I don't like is, and it's mainly from players that, funny enough, are at that club that was the biggest, rivals of the history of the Premier League for me. I know that Man City and Liverpool tried to make something a bit of their rivalry the last couple of years, and they were like, well, we got 100 points or 99 points, but your managers used to shake hands and kiss and cuddle, mate. It weren't at the level. It wasn't war. Van Dijk used to go on holiday at the end of the season with Kevin De Bruyne. You never got Keane and Vieira and Fuerteventura together hugging during the 90s. It didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? They weren't rivals. Arsenal and Man United was the premier rivalry of the English game for at least a decade to 15 years, easily.
Mm-hmm.
And what I don't like about him, and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation like I do a lot of things, is he tries to act evangelical, I think is the word I want to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, we don't have short memories. We remember you and your brother against Jose Antonio Reyes. And it's like, some of the stuff that he comes out with at times, and very, the holier than thou type. And yeah, I know that he can sit there and go, okay, James, let's go medal for medal. But I'm like, I don't have a short memory. I know you were a good player, but you and your team at times, you were boring bastards. You got extra time that you didn't deserve. You got set pieces and penalties that you didn't deserve. And, things used to go your way more than many a team has ever had in the history of the Premier League. So, let's pipe it down. But on the positive note to end the podcast, Sophie, you put the picture up of the great man earlier. Just happy heavenly birthday to the great man for tomorrow, like you said earlier. I mean, it's, again, obviously you were with him most nights a week. I was very blessed to come on here on the chat and be on the shows as well with him. And obviously he doesn't pop into my mind maybe as much as you or maybe other people, but I did think to myself after that today, and I didn't know it was his birthday, but I just thought, do you know what? He'd have loved that. He'd be loving that with that scoreline, because they showed all the over here on Sky. They showed all the footage of '93 before, and with Morrow, and they were talking to Merson about it and everything. And it was just, obviously I was I've never seen us win this. I was alive, but I was 2. I don't remember, but I'm like, I've never seen us win this trophy. So that to me matters as well. I think it would be, I think it's just really beautiful to see the way that it happened. And just happy birthday to him. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. And yes, lots of love coming in for Super Kev. We would have been having fun, and he would love this moment. He really, really would. And he would be telling everyone to, like, screw Skull, screw Butt. I broke their neck when I see him at the stadium. I mean, he loved it. Bring it on. He was part of a team that intimidated other teams in the tunnel, and part of a group of players that just had no fear. And he felt like Mikel Arteta's team was developing into that. And as you guys know, he was a huge, huge fan of Mikel Arteta. And, it's his birthday tomorrow, and happy heavenly birthday, Super Kev. They did it. We're going to the final. And squaddies, enjoy it. Don't let anyone take this moment away from you. Look out on the community page for our next live show. We'll be waxing lyrical about the team. Of course, we've got some important business at the weekend against Sunderland. We will be talking about that as the week goes as well. Also, please don't forget, if you are in the area, if you're in the UK, go and support Mike on the World Cancer Day walk. Lots of Gooners. It'll be fun, especially after that win as well. Goonersvcancer.com. Find out more information there. Please go support it. And they're all walking, and coincidentally, it's happening on Kev's birthday.
Have we
too.
got GPS that he is in bed now?
I don't know.
Because I'm like, he'll still do it because Magic Mike isn't just a nickname. The guy is magical. He really is. However, I think there could be a few sore heads on that walk tomorrow, and I don't blame them.
Maybe.
I don't blame them. You know,
maybe.
that's going to be a Tuesday club and a half tonight, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
so. Peter PAFC sister shares the same birthday. Super Kev, happy birthday to your sister.
Yeah, happy birthday to your sister. P.
Definitely. And thanks again to Albert and RJ for the report outside the Emirates. We appreciate them. It was a brutal, horrible night of pure English weather. And Arsenal weathered any storm and are in the final of the Carabao Cup. Enjoy, everyone. We'll see you next time. And until then, don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them. At ease, squaddies, at ease. Thank you to all of our audio listeners as well. We salute you too. Good night.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Good luck, Pete, if you're getting those results tomorrow. God bless. Take care, everyone.